Dabo, let's start with the way you guys have started the seasons while you've been head coach. I think Middle Tennessee, North Texas, Troy, then step up Auburn, top 25 last year, and now number 5, Georgia. You're brilliant if you win a big game to start the season. If you don't, people say, well, why didn't you play a Middle Tennessee or North Texas? What's your take on starting the season with such a big game?
I just get them ready to play whoever they put on the schedule. I don't really have any control over that. But to be honest with you, they're all big. If you could see our goals hanging on the wall, the first goal is win the opener. It doesn't say win the opener if it's Georgia or win the opener if it's Troy. It's just win the opener. It's always a challenge because you have more time to prepare for that game than any other game. There's always unknowns. Even if there's a lot of people back and coaches are the same, there's always unknowns. And then you throw in the fact that you're playing a top 5 team in Georgia, one of the teams that's really highly considered to win the national championship. It just kind of ramps it up even more. But people are always excited. But then it's Clemson, Georgia, and kind of Clemson, Georgia like it used to be in the 80s. I just think it's exciting, but there's very little room for error. I mean, both teams are going to make mistakes. But the challenge is we have to start the season in mid-season form. And if you're going to have a chance to win this ball game, that's the challenge for both teams.
Talked about how special Clemson, Georgia is. It's just 80 miles apart. I mean, it's even closer than the South Carolina campus. It's going to be an incredible atmosphere when you guys get on the field.
Oh, it'll be special. And yeah, I mean, they're kind of like Cuba, 90 miles away. I grew up in Alabama, but I knew all about Clemson, Georgia. Anybody who's really followed college football remembers the great games of Clemson, Georgia, and Herschel Walkers and the Jeff Davises and all those type of matchups. But there's been some great games. Georgia is dominated the series as of late, but there's been some great moments. And it's one of those games that as the conferences grew and expanded and all the things started changing, it's sad that a game like Clemson, Georgia, went away. And it's been 10 years since these teams have played, and the fan bases are excited and pumped up. But our guys are excited. It's brought a lot of focus to our camp, even more so than maybe normal. But it's going to be a tough challenge, and we're looking forward to it.
I don't know if you've heard murmurs. People talk about how the ACC needs to perform against SEC schools. It comes up once or twice. You guys have done your fair share, winning some big ones, including the LSU and the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Does that come up with as a motivator for your players when you guys get ready for this game, whether it is Georgia or South Carolina or the Chick-fil-A Bowl?
I mean, our players are human beings, and they live out in the real world. And, the SEC has been the dominant conference. They've won several national championships in a row. They've been able to produce that dominant team. But, our guys, we don't really worry about carrying a banner. We just want to be the best that we can be. We feel like that we can compete with anybody on any given day, and it's just about us being prepared, us putting our best foot forward, focusing on the things that we control, and all those things are fun to talk about. Listen, our guys, this is our 3rd SEC game in a row. This is our 3rd top 10 team in a row. So, we got a battle-tested group. They don't really get caught up. When we played LSU in the bowl game, I had to convince our guys that, we're playing LSU, not SEC, because that's what the media tries to perpetuate, and that's what people talk about. And, I think you can get carried away with all that kind of stuff. Again, the focus is Clemson. Let's be the best we can be. And listen, in the last 2 years, there's been the ranked SEC teams of the past 2 years have only lost 7 non-conference games. 3 of those losses were to Clemson. So, our guys have experience in big games, and certainly it's something fun for people to talk about. But at the end of the day, you just got to be the best you can be. And the SEC is king of the hill right now, and if you grew up as a kid playing king of the hill, then somebody got to get up there and knock them off. And we get an opportunity out of the gate to play one of the best from that league, and we'll look forward to it.
Starting this season, you're coming off that LSU win, and then Tajh Boyd announces he's coming back. Clemson fans, already high expectations. I assume with all that, astronomical expectations coming into this year.
Yeah, and one good thing about growing up at a program like Alabama and now 10 years here at Clemson, the expectations are always high. It really doesn't matter if you won 6 games last year, if you're ranked 70th in the preseason, or you're ranked in the top 5, people expect to win here, and they don't want any excuses. So I'm kind of used to that, and I embrace that. I love that. I want there to be high expectations. I love being at a place where people see there's potential. I love the fact that after 4 years now as being the head coach here, we finished in the top 10. We've created consistency. There's only 6 teams in America that have been ranked 30 weeks in a row or more. We're one of those 6. We've created that consistency, and because of that, people like yourself and so forth, they'll say, well, we got to figure out somebody for a preseason, this and that. I want Clemson to be one of those teams every year. I want the expectations to be high every year because the expectations are based on potential, and that's all it is. We have potential, but as I tell our team, that doesn't get you anywhere. I mean, it's all based on performance. So in November, then all that stuff gets relevant to me. But I'm think it's great that people look at our program and say, you know what, these old boys got a chance. But the credit goes to the players. I mean, we got good players that have earned the respect, and now we got to go perform. Doesn't matter what you did last year. Tajh Boyd was the ACC Player of the Year last year. Hadn't thrown a single touchdown pass. This is a great thing about college football, pro football. You start over every year. You can't just walk out there and put the belt out there and say, all right, here we go. You got to do it again and again and again if you're going to be the best, and that's what drives us.
You talked about what Tajh has accomplished. The school has said there's not going to be a Heisman campaign for him. Nonetheless, though, against Georgia, that's a national showcase game for Tajh.
Oh, there's a Heisman campaign. It's called Georgia, NC State, Florida State. We got a campaign laid out for him. But again, we can have all the promotions we want. You got to perform. You got to play. They don't give those awards away. You got to go earn it, and you got to do it through your consistency on the field, your consistency in preparation. And but that old boy's wired for it. He's got the right DNA, and you know what? I'm glad he's my guy. He's a winner, and as long as he's on the field, we got a chance to win.
Last thing, everyone talks about Tajh and Sammy when they talk about this team and what it can do. Give me a name of a player other than those guys who will all be talking about after the Georgia game.
Martavis Bryant, great prospect, great young talent. He's hopefully you're going to be talking about our defensive line. They're all no names right now. I had Eddie George came through here, a couple weeks ago, and he's doing a national radio show and visiting with him, and we're talking about things. He couldn't name one of our defensive linemen, not one name. And I was like, that's perfect. And I don't think I didn't share that with our team. Listen, you guys are a bunch of no-names. So hopefully when the Georgia game's over, maybe you'll know one of our defensive linemen's name. Just one. Then that'll be progress.
All right, well, good luck against Georgia, Dabo.
Okay, thank you.